Hey guys, it's RJ the Fed. I've got Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon.
Yes, you do.
2024. I think you guys can see up top we got the Laguna Madres as well, and behind those is 4 other years of Cowboy Bourbon that are all open. I think 2020 is my favorite so far, and that one's the lowest. Might have to try to find another one on secondary, honestly. But will this top it? Will this beat it? This is the second Cowboy that they released that was hazmat proof. So we had 140.9 last year. This one's 140.2. So let's go ahead and get this out and do a fresh crack of this bad boy. Tyler's picked up one of these as well. Not sure if he's going to like or enjoy it. So we'll let me suffer and open the bottle first. Now, you paid, what was it, $2.19 for cash discount case price.
Yeah, it was like $2.20 out the door.
$2.20 out the door. I paid about $2.49, $2.50 out the door because we did not serve. So thank you for your service.
No problem.
Yeah, Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon. Most of their Cowboy Bourbons are not age stated, but they are at least 6 years or greater. This is bottle 3893. It was distilled and barreled in 2018. So here we go. And this one, I'm excited. White corn too. Let's see if we can get the wax to peel. Has the pull tab, but I'm struggling. There we go.
Good job.
I thought plastic was my worst enemy. Now it might be wax.
I hate the bottles that have the wax. It's like that you can't get out. You have to actually use a knife.
Pretty solid cork pop too on that one. We'll take the our little metal off. It's been dethroned from its metal until we can tell if it's good or not. I don't expect to pour up too much. I mean, it's really dark, motor oily.
That's more than I'm going to pour.
It's 140.2 proof, so really only a splash is all you're really going to need. We do have glasses of water beside it, so if we can't get the tasty notes we want because of the ethanol and proof point on a fresh crack of this bottle, we'll probably add a little bit of water just to dilute it to get those tasty notes we're looking for. Secret that I've done on these was an accident at first. I had a bottle that I didn't really care for on the taste of the Cowboy, and I left the cork off, and I meant to put it back on that night, but I didn't. So it sat with the cork off of it for like 12 hours, and it really opened up, and
I imagine so.
It tasted pretty damn good afterwards. So if this one on fresh crack isn't as desired, obviously letting it sit in a Glen could do the same, but you're gonna have to wait to enjoy your whiskey. I did this with 2 other batches after accidentally doing it with one, where I just left the corks off for like 20 hours and just recorked them afterwards, revisited them like a week later, and they tasted exactly what I expected them to, and that it was more mellowed out, less
softer,
a lot more soft, less ethanol punch. So letting these air out and get some oxygen to them definitely works. If your whiskey's too hot, maybe leave it out for 4 to 6 hours and cork it and try again. But if you feel brave, you can do it for overnight.
This doesn't have a lot of ethanol, at least not my pour.
Very dark.
Then again, your fan is moving pretty fast. Maybe it's knocking some of the...
I hope so. We got the pop filter on the mic, so it's not really picking up the fan, which is perfect, because otherwise it'd be hot in here. The smell is pretty good. It does have the Texas funk, guys. If you don't like Texas whiskey, you don't like that Texas funk, I don't think I've had a single Texas whiskey that didn't have the funk, with the exception of our next project we're going to be doing, which is the Honey Project. I do have a Lone Elm, which is Texas whiskey that doesn't have that Texas funk to it. It's more of a weeded with honey. But Garrison Brothers really hits that. And then Tyler was nice enough to help us get this bottle. Got a single barrel, but this is a pure honey barrel, so this will be part of the next series for the next video I'll be recording. I don't know if we'll post the series first or we'll post the Cowboy review first, but this is all about the 2024 Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon with this fancy shadow box for the 10-year anniversary. Very different box than what they have for the other releases.
Yeah, I kind of missed the casket, fabric.
Yeah, that's the biggest complaint I had. So in here, the insert, instead of having the casket fabric, it's foam, and I have a hard time putting the bottle in with the top where they did the seal for the star on top of the wax, fitting it in the bottle into the box, and it not like catching on the foam. I think that's my biggest gripe about this box. I do like the black box. I think it's cool. I think they should have kept the foam insert with the casket fabric. I thought that was really cool.
I just think the casket fabric looks awesome.
It looks like a bedding for the bottle. I thought it was definitely more appealing than this. But the shadow box is really cool. I just think they should have kept the insert, and I think they should have kept the fabric. That's my only gripe on this one. Also, we upped production. We went from 9,600 bottles, I believe, to 10,000 bottles for the 10-year anniversary. So we've slowly moved up. I think the first release there was probably around 5,000 or 6,000 bottles, and it's just slowly increased. But enough of that. You guys are here for the whiskey review. It smells like Texas whiskey. It smells like Garrison Brothers. Is it worth $250? We're about to find out.
It does smell fruity, though. I do get fruits. Maybe stone fruits.
It tickles the tongue.
It's definitely 140 proof.
Stings the lips, and it lets you know you're drinking hazmat. I did a tiny sip. I like this. I do. First impressions just off the first sip. I do think this is better than last year's, which was 140.9 proof. The mouthfeel on this is really, really good. It definitely has the Texas funk to it. I'm liking this, but man.
I don't necessarily like the front palate, but I really like the mid palate.
The mid
to
the finish is beautiful. It smooths out. So at first it's hazmat. It's in your face.
Yeah, it's a lot of Texas funk.
It's in your face,
like right out the bat. But then everything kind of like, maybe it's just my mouth adjusting after that first pow.
Pow! Right in the kisser.
I'm trying to think of what all flavors I'm getting, but it's hard.
I like this.
It's hard because of the heat.
I find it very interesting that it doesn't take a lot of the oak notes. There's no real barrel char or oakiness to it in my impressions of this. This is made with white corn.
So what is that? What is white corn? And what's the significance of white corn?
Well, that'll be for another video, but there's different corns and different corn grades that they use. Still Austin has some with blue corn and red corn. White corn was also used in the Forbidden by Mary and Eve's. That was the weird... you've seen that. I've had that bottle before. I think I gave you a sample of that a long time ago. Might have to get another bottle of the... We actually have some guy that has a store nearby to him that has those, so we might pick that up so we can show the white corn. But you typically don't see white corn being used for making whiskey. It's few and far in between from what I've seen, so... that is an interesting take on this, and I think that does definitely change the flavor profile that you're getting from this.
I mean, the finish is still going.
Yeah.
For me.
Oh, it's super long.
So.
I mean, so once again, Cowboys are typically 6 years. I didn't look this one up on how long it's aged, but most of them are 6 years or greater. Talking Texas heat, 30 plus days every summer, above 100 degrees. I'm surprised they have any, liquid to put in the bottles after going through 6 summers in Texas.
Oh, that's why they charge so much.
Yeah, I mean, $250. I mean, but Garrison Brothers has always been proud of their stuff. I mean, we're gonna get a honey series going soon. The honeydew I have, best scenario on sale, $70 for honeydew. I think that's the cheapest offering they have. That's even cheaper than their small batch.
Those are only 80 proof, right?
80 proof.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a huge difference between that and the 129 proof. So I'm very excited to have those side by side. And those are infused and not finished. We'll have a lot of other stuff that is finished, so you'll see the difference between staved and not staved. Using actual honey, filtering it, using actual honey, not filtering it.
I'd almost say that Cowboy Bourbon is a very dominating flavor.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm kind of regretting drinking it before we drink all the other whiskeys, because it's going to be like... my tongue's gonna be like, what's happening? Like,
I felt like if we didn't do this one early enough, we wouldn't be able to appreciate for what it is.
That's also true. You gotta.
Unfortunately, what it is hazmat proof.
No, it's very good. It's Garrison Brothers Cowboy.
I don't quite get the same chocolate note that I got on the 2020 version of Cowboy.
I'm still trying to figure out what notes I was getting. I was getting notes, but like I was confused on how to describe them.
There's a cocoa note, but it's subtle. It's not a sweet chocolate, if that makes sense. It's like a chocolate powder almost.
I got some kind of a stone fruit, like some kind of like fruitiness, but it was like a very like dark, like almost nondescript. I'm not sure what it was.
I don't know what it is either. I do know that there is a sweet note to it, and I do know that I actually like this one a lot. This might be my 2020 replacement. I'll have to revisit those side by side. My favorite Cowboy versus the newest Cowboy, because 2021 and 2022, they didn't really do it for me. That's why I left the corks off for so long for those. 2023 being Hazmat, it was pretty darn good. This one, I think, is definitely better than last year's for sure. I think it blows 2021 and 2022 out of the water, hands down. I think this will give 2020 a run for its money. Now, 2020 is a lot lower proof, but it was very easy to drink from fresh crack, and I've sampled out a ton of it. I have very little left. I'll probably have to bottle kill that just to be able to give you guys a comparison. I'll make sure I have at least one or two other guys here to help with that, so we can actually have a panel to vote on it. Do we like this hazmat proof better than the 2020 that I think is 133.6 proof? Don't quote me on that one. This is really good. I think this is hazmat proof. Like, as far as like, how does it drink like hazmat proof or does it drink under proof? I think it drinks very hot on the initial palate. I think the mid palate to finish, it mellows out to where it doesn't feel like you're my mouth's not watering or burning.
Yeah, I agree.
Initial though,
I just had to adjust.
Initial, it's like whoa. And that's
man.
why we did have some bottles that we had before that were around 120 proof to try before we got to this, because we knew we couldn't go from nothing to 140 proof.
Oh, you can, but
well,
you probably regret it.
We had to acclimate. 2024 Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon. If you can find it for under $250 out the door, I think it's a buy. I like this one. I think it's very good. Is Garrison Brothers worth the price? Same question we ask for every offering they have. They're very proud of their stuff. It's very expensive. Here's my 2 cents on it. Small batch, pass on it. Honeydew, if you can get it on sale for $70, it's actually not bad. You should try it. We'll talk about it in the next one. Single barrels. If you're going to buy a single barrel, this is a poor example because this is a special single barrel. If it's just a single barrel and not like this one, this is a honey single barrel. This is very different, but it's going to have the same silver wax and silver logo. If it's 135 proof or greater for $170, $180, I think it's a buy. Balmorea. I mean, if you can get it on sale for $150, maybe. The Ladybird, that's 114 proof. I think that one's a pretty funky tasting one. I don't know if I'd buy that one for $200, but maybe if you can get it closer to 140.
What's Balmorea? 115? 115?
114 proof.
Okay.
And then you got the Guadalupe, which is 107 proof. That one, if you can get that one on sale too, I would say buy it, but it's got to be around that 120, 130, and that's I know that's a lot of money. But then when you talk about the ones that are worth it, and this is my opinion and my opinion alone, I think the Cowboy Bourbons are the most worth it because they're at cash strength. That's the big deciding factor. Do they warrant $50 to $100 more than your small batch or your Balmorea or your Guadalupe? I think they do. I honestly do. They're not something you're going to drink all the time. You're going to savor it. You're not going to sit there and just crush a bottle. I think those are definitely the ones to buy. The single barrel above 135 proof and the Cowboy Bourbon. I'll talk about the Laguna because it's on the shelf behind me. Is it worth the $350 price tag? The short answer is absolutely not. It's 101 proof. It's 8-year age stated. It's one of the best whiskeys I've ever had that's been made and distilled in Texas.
The mouthfeel is amazing.
It's so unique. And they have, on their Instagram page, they have a barrel, 114 proof on entry proof. I don't know what it's going to be on the end, that they're bottling. It's 10 years. So they're going to have a 10-year-old Garrison Brothers product. So I'm assuming, this was $6 and this was $250. The Laguna Madre behind me is $8. It's $350. I really do think they're going to push $450 on a price tag for a single barrel 10-year Garrison Brothers product. I don't know if I want to pay that, but I'm going to because I gotta review it. I have to have it, man. Like 10-year Texas whiskey is insane.
You would just fall down dead if you didn't get it.
10-year-old Texas whiskey. So as far as value, cost, Garrison Brothers being worth it, not worth it, single barrels, 135 proof or greater, I say yes. Cowboy, I say yes. Anything in between, it's got to be on sale or heavily discounted. Definitely try before you buy. Texas Funk is not for everybody.
If you haven't, don't buy Garrison Brothers if you haven't tried Texas whiskey. Buy a cheaper Texas whiskey first and see what you think about that Texas Funk. Then, if you're okay with it, spend the money for Garrison Brothers, but don't just go right out and buy a $250.
Yeah, no, don't. I do not endorse you spending $250 on a bottle if you haven't had any Texas whiskey before. RJ the Fed signing out. This is Tyler and I's quick review of, I say quick, it's no longer quick, of Cowboy Bourbon for 2024. Hazmat proof, 140.2 proof. Cheers.
Yeehaw.